Hello, welcome to Shad Life. I just got done riding winds. I'm at the top of Bobsled where the downhill part starts right here. I'm gonna ride that in a moment, but here, let's watch the clip of winds. POV footage. Unfortunately, it's busy. These are fast trails. I can't really stop in the middle of the trail, get off my bike, set up my tripod and get other angles. So this video will be POV footage. I apologize in advance, but it's just the way it is. It's the weekend here, super busy. So yeah, so winds, here we go. All right, top of winds on the Nukeproof Scout in MX form. Sweet. Oh, that's always pretty rough on a hardtail. Nice. Woo, yeah. Yeah, this bike loves this trail. Wow. Oh, that one, the lip is kind of gone on it now. Not quite as lippy as it used to be. All right, this is always the part you can rest, get a few breathers. Whew. All right, drop the seat, let's go. Not gonna hit the drop on a hardtail. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh sweet. Oh, this bike is so fun on winds. Wow. Whew. Such good stuff. This bike likes to go down a lot. So this bike in its current configuration, MX build, loves to point downhill. I wouldn't say it's the greatest flat level zipping through trail bike. It's okay, but I definitely prefer my steeper head angle bikes, shorter wheelbase, things like that for that kind of riding. But riding winds with that was so nice. And I'm even a bit rusty. Keep in mind, I've been off the bike for over a week, and this is a new feeling bike to me. So for me to be able to just hit winds like pretty amazing. So now I'm gonna go hit bobsled, but before I do, let's just talk a little bit about this bike. So in its current configuration, I did measure the head tube angle with it set up this way. So it's a 120 millimeter travel 29er fork. So 29er fork is going to be about 20 millimeters taller axle to crown than a 27.5 fork. And the whole reason for that is so I can fit a 29er wheel. This is 29 by 2.6 and there's plenty of room. So that is why I don't want to run the 140 millimeter, because I want to offset that you know, the front end of the bike by going with a 120 millimeter travel fork. So when I measured, it is really busy here. When I measured the head angle, it was about 63.5. It was somewhere between 63.5 to 64 degrees. I did try level ground, but it's not a precise measurement. A shout out to Steve at Hardtail Party for his little jig thing he has, and I'm actually thinking of building something very similar for the same reason, so I can get accurate measurements that he does. I love that about his channel. So pretty slack. So when I'm riding it, I can feel that flop, which I don't like. So at slower speeds, it's kind of like, right? But once you get up to speed, that really mellows out, and then it really comes into its own. So right now, this bike is set up for high speed and not exactly the greatest like slow speed. Not to say that you can't ride it through tight, twisty, slower speed trails. You certainly can. It's more about the feel of it, and kind of how, like, my Esker Hey Dukes, I really like how they just can rip through tight trail, super quick, fast, agile. This isn't that. This bike isn't like that at all. So come over here. I really, the only thing that's been transferred over from that Norton bike that I had is the seat. Which is actually pretty comfortable, but I'm probably going to put a different seat on this bike eventually. And the drivetrain, and not even the cassette, just the Advent X derailleur and shifter. And this Advent X 10-speed, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it is excellent. It covers everything. I'm able to climb, like, the climb up to Winds is got some steep parts, and it's a long climb, and this is just fine. 32, 48 being the easiest gear. And if you look, let me get my shadow out of the way. What they do is they have a nice consistent, like, shift between gears in the first 8, right? It looks like by the time you get to 8, it jumps up a little bit more, and then the 9th and 10th are 2 bigger jumps. And it's, so when I'm shifting between these gears, what I really like is it's very subtle, and I can find that ideal gear. And then when I go into these two, I can climb pretty much anything. And if in all honesty, because I'm rarely ever in the hardest gear, it just doesn't happen very much. And by the time I'm there, I don't need to be pedaling. I'm usually just using downhill to go fast. But so what I'm trying to say is, if you did want easier climbing, then you could easily just drop down to a 30 up front, because a 30, I think this is an 11, might even be 10, but I think it's 11, is plenty for speed, for the high speed stuff. And then a 30, 48 would be easily just as easy to climb with like a 32, 51 or 52, like the Shimano SRM setup. So anyway, kind of getting long-winded there, but I want to say that the Advent X, even in its 10-speed form, is so good. I'm very impressed with it. And in the day and age of electronic shifting, which I love, my axis on my Rustler, but there's just something to be said about really good mechanical, and Advent X is here to save the day. I do hope that they decide to go make an 11-speed or even a 12-speed setup someday. I don't know if there's patents or reasons they are not doing it, but it would be really cool if they did that, just for people who do want that wider range of gears, right? And the other thing I really did is I changed out those brakes. Those June Tech brakes were not cutting it for me. So I have my XT. These are what were off of my Hey Duke MX build. So XT calipers and SLX 4-piston Shimano brakes. And so it's so nice to just be able to gently pull. I don't have to pull really hard and get that arm pump. I can just lightly actuate the lever and have really good stopping power. And the Crank Brothers dropper, that thing's been flawless. Love that. I don't know what else to talk about, but the way this bike rides is super sweet. I do think I need to cut the bars down, probably 1/2 inch on each side, I'm thinking. Maybe a 1/4 inch. I'll have to measure to some of my other bars. They do feel just a touch wide, but aside from that, I mean, I'm really liking how this bike rides, especially in the NAR stuff. All right, here we go, bobsled. case you're wondering, I have a dropper down the entire time I'm on this trail. So one of the things about slack geometry on a trail like this is you absolutely have to lean the bike. Oh yeah, so rad. Oh yeah, here's another one. Oh, love it. Slack bikes come into their own once you get them really leaned. Oh, there's a little bit of slide. I feel like I always slide on that corner. Here's a fun part. Lean. Oh yeah. So fun. I am at the top of manual drive. Really liking this bike, especially in the fast stuff. Check out that view from here. That is so awesome. Yes, and I will get this bike to Monarch and try to get a little bit more thorough footage and other angles and all of that. Because now that I've ridden this bike off of some jumps, I know that it will absolutely shred at Monarch. I really do appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace. Oh, almost. Just so close. I probably could have got that if I went just a tiny bit faster, but I just barely cased. Sweet though. This bike loves jumping, and yeah, the only bike that I've been able to clear those on so far has been my Rustler, and this bike came really close.